I'm going to make a video here on Humanofort. I've been meaning to for some time. This is take number 2. I keep getting phone calls and they interrupted my video, so I had to put my phone on Do Not Disturb. So here we go again. I'm a big advocate of Humanofort for what it does. Most people don't really understand what it is and what it does. And I'm going to try to go over some things here to give people a better general idea of what it is. And then in the future, I'm going to make short videos, shorter than this one, explaining some specific things that it does. So I'll explain like what this part of the body is, what it does, and how Humanofort affects it. But now I want to just freewheel it here. I haven't rehearsed anything or written anything down. I'm just going to talk about it off the top of my head here, what it is, and some things about what it does. Humanofort contains the full spectrum, all of the growth factors that are responsible, that built every tissue of our body and maintain the tissues and help all of our cells signal and understand, so all of our organs and everything know where they're supposed to be and balance everything out. It helps our body, it gives us the ability to create stem cells in our adult life that we normally could not. It has the fibroblast growth factors and the building blocks to create these stem cells, and they differentiate, so we're able to create stem cells for all the different tissues of the body: skin, bone, muscle, organs, brain tissue, things like that. The longer you take Humanofort, the more benefit you get out of it. It's something that you just keep taking. It's something that I'll take for the rest of my life, and everybody the majority of people I've treated that have seen the benefits will understand it and keep taking it as well. Some people don't understand it and they take it for a month and they're like, well, I really didn't notice anything, just quit taking it. That's what I'm trying to prevent here. It's not like Dr. Serrano. Dr. Serrano is a famous independent doctor that's been using Humanofort to treat many things for years, and he's done his own studies on it. And he says there's something published out there anybody can read that he put out on the internet. He says 70% of people that take Humanofort don't know really how to explain it. Many people say this, but they just feel better. You feel a little more rested, you recover from your workouts. Your brain chemistry is a little more balanced out. Blood pressure over time balances out if you have blood pressure issues, things like that. But he said the most drastic thing is you see in the blood work. People's blood work, things that are out of range go down into range, things that are under range come up, but things that are already in range stay the same. And that's from the cell communication, so everything knows where it's supposed to be. These growth factors are in the largest amount in all life, all creatures, and the umbilical cord at the first points of incubation, because that's when it goes to work in the largest degree, constructing our entire body and setting everything, in a homeostasis pace. These growth factors are responsible for all life. Normally, they're made in certain places in the world in individual ones in a peptide synthesizer. Those are the ones that can't be sold over the counter as a supplement, for example. Humanofort, and they're individual, and you just get these little bits. There's a lot of different growth factors out there: oligopeptides, fibroblast growth factors, like epidural growth factors. There's follistatin, IGF-1, you name it. Problem with the little individual ones, sometimes things can go out of range, but they're not treating other stuff. This is all of them, okay? The way it's made is they fertilize thousands of chicken eggs. At a certain point of incubation, when the growth factors are at their largest amount, they extract the umbilical cords and get these growth factors and put them in a concentrated form in a capsule so we can get a larger amount of it. They're found in small amounts in fertilized eggs and raw milk, for what develop the embryo and help the baby develop after birth. There's been animals even treated with it that were born. Emmerich got some x-rays and stuff of a kitten, for example, that was born premature, it hadn't developed fully, and by giving it Humanofort, it was able to finish its it's development that's normally within the womb outside of the womb because it was getting these growth factors. They're good for everybody, but as we age, we become deficient in them, and because of certain things, quality of life, chemicals we're exposed to, lifestyle, you name it, they can become more deficient faster. And the main reason we age is that we start to become more deficient in these growth factors. That's why by the time we're 30, we start seeing gray hairs and wrinkles and things like that. These growth factors are going down. And certain drugs, things like that, alcohol, you name it, these growth factors really plummet, okay? This gives you a large amount of it, a couple times a day, so your body can then go to work with anti-aging, repair, hormonal homeostasis, brain chemistry homeostasis. That's what their main purpose is to keep life going. They're like little workers that go to work on your skin, your bones, your muscles, your brain tissue, your organs, and then through the cell communication, everything knows where it's supposed to be. They give us the ability to create or take more collagen up into our skin and create fibroblasts, which actually rebuild organs. That it's something that normally wouldn't be done in our adult life. And then the stem cell production, they give us the ability to create stem cells for all of our different tissues and differentiate which ones to create. There's many success stories out there for it. But by taking it, you're drastically slowing the aging process. You take it for years, your body's running at a more youthful level. The hypothalamus in the brain that controls all your hormonal function regenerates. The pituitary gland, our adrenal cortex, which is very, very important for many things. I'll go over some of that stuff. Then, for example, people with type 2 diabetes, they take it, their insulin levels drop, their pancreas recovers, and their receptors become more sensitive. One thing that these growth factors do is at a cellular level, they turn all of our receptors on at a higher degree, so we respond better to everything. That's why once the adrenal cortex starts functioning at a better degree after a few weeks of taking it, people will notice if they drink caffeine, they get a lot more out of the caffeine. That's why all these guys that we teach the testosterone replacement therapy, taking these little microdoses, get so much out of it. A lot of people think it was just for bodybuilding, and that just so happens that bodybuilders take it because of its incredible ability to help us recover from workouts and respond at such a higher degree to hormones. You get a lot more out of everything you do, okay? So, for example, the guys taking TRT, when they take too much, their receptors lose sensitivity, their hypothalamus shrinks, their testes shrink, and their adrenal cortex suffers. By doing the microdosing, it keeps everything from shutting down, but then the Humanofort goes to work, restores the hypothalamus, restores the adrenal cortex, the pituitary gland, and will regenerate the testicles. These growth factors have been proven to do this. And many guys will tell you, will back me up on this, they've experienced it. But then we start responding at a higher degree to the testosterone, so these guys get way more out of less. So they're taking a smaller amount, but they actually feel better than they did on these larger amounts because they're responding better to it. Same thing with the insulin, IGF-1, you name it, we just respond at a higher degree to everything. It's the recovery from working out is one thing that I notice at a really high degree, and my clients notice it after a while. We can work out longer and more frequently and recover from our workouts the way we might have when we were 18 years old. Sometimes we have to take a little more of it because some more of these growth factors help you recover faster, depending on how much you're working out, how much muscle you have, how much recovery there has to be. But it's something that everybody can benefit from. I have many friends. I'll try to make some videos with some of them in the future to come, that it's, you know, they've had all kinds of blood work issues fixed, kidney, heart, liver, elevated liver enzymes that have been elevated for years. All of a sudden, after a few weeks, they're normal. Skin conditions, diet, stomach issues. One thing that's really cool that these growth factors do, they heal our digestive tract and set a balance in the flora, but they also help grow the villi in the small intestine. They're like little fingers that cause more surface area. And by having that more surface area, we are able to absorb 18% more of the nutrients we eat. So it even helps in that aspect. We're getting more nutrients out of what we eat. Autophagy. Some people might understand this. Autophagy is where dead cells break down and then they rebuild new. A lot of people do some extended fasting to create this autophagy. By taking Humanofort, it naturally happens. I'm not saying fasting wouldn't still speed it up, but FGF21, fibroblast growth factor 21, is responsible for autophagy. When you fast, the liver starts producing this. Some people are deficient in it, so it doesn't work at the same degree. By taking Humanofort, they're going to replace that. But you'll still get it even when you're not fasting, because Humanofort contains that. It'll break down the dead cells and then reconstruct them new. It's one of the larger parts of the anti-aging. Another thing people will notice when you're taking it to pay attention to is your fingernails will start growing faster, and eventually they're thicker as they grow out. Your hair will start growing faster. Women really like that. And with time, your skin will actually start looking better because it's taking up more collagen. The longer you take it, the more these things are noticed. Like when you shave, for example, for men, you'll notice when you're taking it that your stubble is a little longer after a few weeks than it normally would be. You're built, like when you get sleep, sometimes you only get 5 hours of sleep. You'll feel better than you normally did on that much sleep. And as time goes on, we get used to the way we feel on it. And a lot of guys then, if they run out, I just had a client, for example, he gets hold of me, he's like, man, I didn't realize how much Humanofort helped me with my recovery. I ran out for a couple weeks, and then after a few workouts, I started dogging it. And, you know, he was very happy to get his Humanofort. He had ordered it, and the mail got slow. There was some discrepancy with the package, but it finally showed up, and he was like, oh man, I'm happy I have it. When you understand scientifically what it does in your body, you don't want to quit taking it. It's the single greatest product out there. The fact that it's created naturally, it can be sold as a supplement. One reason that it's not overly advertised is it does help with a lot of things. A lot of doctors use it to help people. We're afraid that the FDA will try to control it, and we don't want to do that. We want to still continue to sell it as a supplement so everybody can have it and reap the benefits from it. It's why we have, a lot of people can look back on my videos and posts on Facebook, and Emmerich's posts on Facebook. We have all these older bodybuilders that are still able to develop the muscle they did when they were younger, and that's because Humanofort keeps the body running at a younger level. They're able to recover from their workouts, create the stem cells for muscle that normally would cause muscle to atrophy over time, and you wouldn't be able to recover and then be sensitive to testosterone, things like that. As these guys get older, this thing, Humanofort, fixes all that. So they're still able to carry the muscle they did in like their 30s into their 60s and 70s. A lot of my friends that are in their 70s, 80s have been taking Humanofort for years. My girlfriend is very surprised how cognitive they seem to be, and it's because a lot of the cognitivity issues that we run into is because of lack of growth factors, the brain regeneration and the sensitivity to insulin, things like that. The energy isn't able to be taken up into the brain properly. That sort of thing is reversed with these guys. So, it's in their 70s and 80s, they're still very cognitive as if when they were young. So the sooner we can start taking it and just stay on it, the better off we'll be. Maybe those, down the road, you'll notice that you're aging slower than other people are the same age. And osteoporosis, for example, had multiple women that started taking it and they were in the first stages of osteoporosis, and after a few weeks it was no longer. I did bring up like skin conditions, things like that, digestive tract issues, the heart. My heart, for example, I was on a bunch of heart meds. I had 3 heart attacks, and it was an ugly scene. Literally by adjusting my testosterone, my TRT to the microdosing, and taking the Humanofort, within 6 weeks my blood work was perfect. And I had been 2 years with 35 for my ejection fraction of my heart, which is the efficiency, the amount of blood it pumps out. After I started taking Humanofort, 6 months later, I went into the cardiologist. My ejection fraction was 50. And she was surprised. She said, "Mike, your heart's healing itself." And I had been told by doctors for the last 2 years that 35 was probably the best I was going to be, and I kept saying I wanted to fix it. By taking Humanofort, that came up. Okay? We've had people that had shrunken left heart ventricles. One guy in particular, by taking Humanofort at a certain dose, his heart ventricle regenerated itself, and the doctors were baffled. But because he had the growth factors that originally constructed that heart ventricle, which would have normally had to be a surgery, it fixed itself. And these things are very real. That's why I stand behind this product so hard. I'm trying to get the word out there. Okay? So hopefully that helps people understand. If anybody has any questions, you can contact me on Facebook, YouTube. I'm available. Get a hold of me, and I'll gladly try to answer any questions. If I can't, I'll talk to Emmerich and get the answers for you. But look out for my videos to come. I'll talk about, like I said, the little individual things, like I'm going to talk about telomeres, which have a lot to do with DNA and anti-aging, and the stem cell fact of it, brain tissues, things like that. I'm going to break these little subjects down and talk about some more about the individual growth factors and some of these benefits. So with that, I'll knock off the video right here. I hope that kind of helped explain some things to people. And let's take Humanofort and age gracefully and be healthier. All right? Talk to you later.